You should just look at people.
We were talking about why did you come?
All right.
At this point, I couldn't. Hi, look at all of you. My gosh. I'm so glad you're all here. And I mean, I'm not just saying that. I'm really excited that you're here. We have a fantastic set of pieces for you tonight. So before we get started, I want to say just a couple orienting words for us so we can have a clearer sense of where we are and what we're doing. And I wrote some of them down because I always forget a couple. So first thing, if you are new to, is anybody new to Perpich-ish? Like this is you're kind of like, all right, cool. I knew it was on Highway 55, maybe, sweet. So, Amy, you work here. You're not new to Perpich.
Okay.
Sorry. So, Perpich is an arts-based high school. We're 11-12. In the morning, we have academic classes. In the afternoon, we have art area classes. We have 7 art areas. And I wrote them down, again, because I would forget one. We've got music, theater, musical theater, media, vig, just kidding, that's not one of them. Dance, and then us, lit. So all afternoon, we get to create art together. It's a kind of astounding thing. As teachers, we have a wide degree of latitude in terms of what we want to cover. As students have a great deal of autonomy and support. It's genuinely what a high school experience ought to be like. And the fact that it is rare does not make us like elevated, special, fantastic. It makes us what should be common, right? This should be the common experience of high school. So this school doesn't happen inevitably, right? Art doesn't happen inevitably. We have to do this. We have to work for it, support it, practice, struggle through it, sacrifice for it. So in the same way that art doesn't just happen, this school doesn't just happen. So there are people who advocate for the school, there are people who fight for it, people who, again, sacrifice, work hard, all those beautiful things. And you know this, right? Things like this, the special things, aren't inevitable. I want to name that in particular just because in our world right now, I think there maybe was an assumption that a certain way of doing things was perhaps inevitable, that a certain direction of progress was inevitable. And we're recognizing it's our job to fight for the things that we believe in, and we have to do that. We have to do that, like, today. And we can. So I wanted to name some of those things. I want to name, the heat that you're feeling is not from our semi-functional HVAC system. It is from creativity. It's from art. So when you feel that, just be like, oh yeah, that's art. That's making me sweat. It's sweat in a creative, artistic way. But yeah, I feel it too. It's like, what am I wearing? I want to thank a few people before we jump in. Thanks to Amy for guarding the door so securely and taking names. Thanks to Rebecca for your support, constant and amazing. And thank you to our sound and light worker of magic, Kevin Holstein, who has saved my butt so many times when I come here and I'm like, okay, I can get in, but I don't know what any of the things do. And he's like, yeah, this is a mic, and he's talking to this side. So Kevin has been super helpful and super supportive. Thank you. We are going to get started. How many of you have been to a lit reading before? And how many of you are new? This is your first go. Okay, so a few notes about a lit reading. I want to emphasize these are not stolid state affairs where you sit and you kind of snap politely when it's over. You're of course welcome to do that. Snapping is welcome. But other things you can do. You can think about this like a rock concert, where if something kind of moves you, you can be like, yeah, all right, woo! If you're not quite there yet, we'll just do a couple together. So let's say somebody says something and it lands with you, it resonates a little bit. You can go like this and with me now. Like you're thinking and your head is moving. You can also, if something lands with you, you can snap. Let's all practice with your fingers. It's a great thing. You can snap when something kind of hits us. You're going to maybe feel a little weird snapping, but you should do it. I know it's Minnesota, but we can snap, and we can snap when we feel like snapping, and everyone should be like, I'm so glad somebody did, right? You can also, when a piece is over especially, you can celebrate as though you would celebrate, I don't know, like a well-done casserole. Yes! That feels good, thank you. So those are all awesome reactions you can have during a reading. You can also be in quiet, reverent awe. We will have kind of a range of those things as we get into the program. It's going to be about an hour. We don't have a break. So settle in, buckle up, and without further ado, the Lit Readers of 2025.
Hi, my name is Hayden. This is Car Ride. The sound is both quiet and thunderous, smoothly chopping through the landscape outside. My world is blurred through hazy sheets, moving ahead yet sitting stock still. In the foreground run droplets that race to be the first one behind me. Warm breath dusts against my slightly damp shoes, eyes so slightly drooping, the sound echoes past my ears, right behind the music I mask it with. The buttons on my wrist slip through their slot, over and over and over. My hands grasp a warm cup, a soft blanket rests against my knees. I am so small, in the center of all of it. The calm and the storm, all at once.
Hello, my name is Jelena Gumbin, and this piece is currently untitled. Sit staring at a gradient paper of blues, and every left corner has the embellishment of a snowflake. Grandma's house is large for a small girl, and it's lonely when everyone is asleep or gone. Dad will drop you off early and pick you up late. In this case, it's a weekend where there's nothing else to do but be alone in the packed hordes of precious angels, of clothing, of scented soaps. If you're sneaky enough, you'll empty the candy jar on the kitchen counter. Get lost in the frozen journal you begged for at the book fair. In your hand is a ketchup-looking pen, which inks trails nonsensical lyricism. Bumping against your dirty Disney socks is an array of highlighters and shiny metallic markers. The dusty floral comforter around you is all-consuming, and you can hear the square TV play an old blockbuster. In large letters over the two sisters' faces, metallic ink, it reads Blank Songbook. You are in kindergarten. You have barely any concept of writing, yet you've decided that your feelings need to go somewhere. This is the first documented instance of you trying to rhyme. This is when the poetry began. It's now 3rd grade. You are in homeroom. You sit in the big recliner chair that is a deep burgundy color that syncs with every movement. The teacher, who is a small man, who will puff out his chest like a big man, who will loudly tell you about the cursive writing course that you have to take. And every day after science, you will pull out a packet and follow the swirly lines that you have studied in your own time. This is when your handwriting tries to connect with your mom's, tries to loop and swirl in the way only an 80s baby can. Then you'll be in your mom's room, which is essentially yours, and you'll both find it hard to sleep alone. Observe beyond the redacted lines. The room is a warm hue, and everything is just how you remember. The king-size bed isn't so big in a normal-sized room. The blankets are colorful and patterned and fuzzy, and sometimes you find cuddled up in them are the kittens, and the 3 blind curtains still let in all the cold and crickets. If you think about it long enough, your mom sits on the edge of the bed, one leg dangling off like it always did, bouncing aside like it always did, and her hair still has blonde, chunky highlights, and you can watch as her fan bun bounces at the top of her head in a harmonious rhythm with the leg she insistently thumps against the side. You sit crisscross applesauce in a teal color only kids wear. Your smile is crooked and has large holes that are caused by an overeager child. Your mom has a pen in her hand and is telling you to give her a prompt. Today is one of the good days. She is awake and has never heard of the words pig farm, overworked, or cranky. She has a bright smile as you give her the word unicorn, and she swirls her words in a controlled but exaggerated way. Magic is then born from thin air as her swirled diction begins to read a poetic story, a pocket-sized poem for a unicorn-loving girl that's eloquency can only be created in collaboration. This will be known as the first recallable instance of mom's encouragement. Now not much time has passed. 2 years feels like yesterday to the unsentient mind. The only thing to change is that you've begun going to the small town high school in preparation for the years ahead. You'll still stay with a homeroom teacher, and you spend all your time reading. You take pride in this ability. When you're little you find you've obsessed over posture, the shoulders back, feet straight, diaphragm big and open. And when you leave class each day, it's with book in hand, slipping the pastel sticky note on the last line you read. At some point, you know you have the whole 5th grade reading the same series as you, and when you're little you, there will be a time where you won't understand why the teachers say that you have influence. Mom will have a couple rare nights where she cooks in the coffee brown kitchen, and you'll sit on one of the yellow wood stools and read aloud to her. Some silly part of you still does all the voices. Taking as much space and time as you need, knowing that she would ask you to read, that she wanted to listen. This is the same feeling you'll experience at readings. You'll stand a big small girl, and you'll loudly proclaim you hold this space for a unicorn-loving girl. The warm-colored house that's a different hue in every room, this same girl is losing herself between every move. It takes 6 years to find her voice again, that feels everything is nostalgic and nothing mentioned that feels everything is nostalgic and thinks nothing mentioned can't be forgotten. There is a little girl that is finally remembered, the one who wrote in a songbook. Thank you.
My name is Lauren Shear. This piece is called Hello Little Frog. Hello little frog, or are you a toad? Either way, adept at catching flies, equipped with a sympathetic beating heart and perceptive yellow eyes. I just want to draw your attention to the steam bubbles forming around you and yours. I know you can use your heart and eyes. I know you can use your heart and eyes. Thank you.
Hello, I am Venestrata. I'm going to be reading My Dearest Love. My memory is nothing if not a bit shot. Even still, one thing I remember is that little stray cat from my childhood. The kitten, was small and shaking and plucked at my heartstrings with the same kind of gentle as if playing a harp. I saw the kitten through the foggy glass door leading to our deck. The smudges did nothing to hide its small, fragile figure. I called to my parents with a juvenile begging to care for the kitten. They gave it some water. They called someone to come get her. They didn't let her inside, my sister far too allergic, but I watched through that glass, smudges between us. I cried for her. I wanted her to know that I cared. They came in and got her. They took her from me. I'd never known love as I did, looking into her wet, weeping eyes. They took that from me too. I didn't know the kitten for long. One day I stopped remembering altogether. I haven't thought of her for years, but sentiment creeps up on us all. As a baby, evermore, she cries to be let in. But I've been missing her lately. I knew her for a day. I wonder, even now, if she knows how much I still love her. My parents don't remember it, the kitten, and I know I'm not supposed to. I guess I still have that bit of being a child that tells me of this, the love I never lost. No one cares anymore, none except me. That's expected, that's normal, but on my soul to my dearest God, I can still see her shaking. Thank you.
I am Calypso Blease, and this is Earless Eyeless. I stare at you. You don't stare back, so I don't know if you have eyes. I just want to tell you about the grapefruit I ate earlier today. I don't get to eat grapefruit very often. Rare things taste sweeter. I would eat it more often if I could, ruin that beautiful glass-blown sweetness with my gluttony. It matters less because you do not hear it. You never hear it, so it all levels out on the same plane of almost important, and I'm no longer sure you have ears. Do you like grapefruit, I wonder? It doesn't matter. I'd give up my grapefruit for you. Thank you.
Hello there. My name is Zach,
I'm still Hayden.
and this is our piece, Storytellers.
I find myself deeply mourning
Mornings without you puts me in a rut.
what never could have truly been,
Being here is a reason without cause.
because neither I nor you ever took the time,
Time seen in the blanket we used to tend.
pretending to understand reality,
Reality trickled down like sand.
and instead I allowed myself
My dreams and hopes split into two.
to dream up, to write down.
Down in our room without you there.
There, the perfect you that I worship.
Worshipped until the night woke only I.
What happened to the time spent?
Senses and strings now long lost.
Lost in the war of versions.
Subversions of a reality now different.
Different stories I told myself.
My old world long gone, so I craft anew.
You painted in thousands of different colors.
Colors of lives that were never yours or mine.
Mine became yours, and then yours became ours.
Ours gone in the fabric and stitches.
Stitching the words into the different stories we shaped.
Shaping the future, crafting myself hope.
Hoping for another chance, another day for the two of us.
Us in my dreams. Dancing, creating,
Thinking,
dreaming, what could have been and what still could be. Thank you.
I don't really know how to do this. Hello, my name is Dimitri Petoski. I'll be reading Slick Black Oil. You come from places where the earth is black. You spend every day, half the night with your hands in the dirt, and all you have left is a little money and half a night of sleep. But you need this to survive. And one day a man comes in a slick black car without a single stain, with men in black suits without a single stain. And he gets down on one knee and he tells you everything is going to be okay. And you believe him. But when he stands back up, he brushes the dirt off his knee. He sends his men to your land, and they spend all day with their hands in the dirt, but they pull their hands out of their gloves, and they are clean. And one day a machine comes, and it's slick and black and covered in stains, with a deep hum that drives the cows away. And the machine spends all day and all night with its hands in the dirt, and it takes up big loads of slick, black oil, but it doesn't care if it's dirty. And the man comes back, and you ask him what he's done. He says it'll all be okay, and you believe him. But the machine keeps humming, and your land turns gray. And now you spend even longer in the dirt, wishing you had warned that man away. Thank you.
One moment, please. Hold for tall people mic adjustment. Hi, I'm Jesse Vanderheiden, and this is my piece, While She Dreams of Dispossession. On Hallows Eve, the moon is round, as monsters rise up from the ground. The living walk among the dead, and phantoms linger overhead. And here among the spectral spree, my own soul rides inside of me. Bubbling boil, a troubling toil, this spirit hates its mortal coil. Mystics conjure precognitions, heed the power of superstitions. Consult the deck and hold your breath. 13th card, draw forth my death. A prophecy, fate divinely changed. Soul and body no longer estranged. My thankful prayers to her above, to bless me with that of self-love. While this body's not the one I'd want, it's mine to cherish, to hold and haunt. Thank you.
Well, this is convenient. Hello, it's Zach, and I'm going to be reading Letters from the Past. "2016. Dear Zach, my teacher told me to write a letter to me in 2040, but I don't know why. I have plenty of friends, and Mrs. Marsh is really nice to me. I have Ian, Carson, Ye, White, and so much more. I wanted to spend more time with them, but Grandma got sick again. Mom says she's doing better, but I'm not sure. She gave me the new Skylander Supercharge, so I'm gonna go get back to that. You are good, Zach. You'll be the best chef in the galaxy when you're older. See you later, alligator. From Zach." "2020. Dear Zach, my teacher is forcing me to write this since I yelled at that girl in class. She was talking about purposefully getting sick with this new virus to avoid school, and it reminded me of Grandma. I've been told that we're going to be staying indoors for a few weeks because of this. Some people say it's a government conspiracy to keep us inside, but I think that this is serious. I miss seeing Macy. I hope the two of you are still friends when you read this. In the meantime, we have school off until it switches to online. We'll see how it goes. I might just do nothing, mostly because of this, and my science teacher told me to make a house of cards, and I cannot do that. See you in the future. From Zach." "2022. Dear Z, my teacher convinced me to write this. I'm trying my best, but Lydia keeps distracting me in class. She's so sweet and kind and amazing. We might not get along the best, but I still like her and want to get her know her. I want to know her more. It's all right to cry every day because of what she says to me, because sometimes you just need to let those emotions out, right? I gotta go. She's taking me to see the Icarus play we helped make, and we're gonna be sitting together. Stay safe. From Z." "2023. Dear Zach, Z, whoever you are, my teacher told me to write a letter to myself, like there's even a point. I have been the villain of my own history my whole life. All I do is hurt others. I hurt my family by being myself. I hurt my pets by not being around them. I hurt all of my friends by pushing them away for a fantasy that will never come true. I hurt Lydia by even stepping near her and giving hope that is long gone. I hurt myself by diving into fever dreams I could never achieve. I'm going to go. The lake is calling to me. "2025. Dear Zach, it's been a while since I wrote one of these. The first time I'm writing on my own and not forced to by a teacher. To the future version of me, thank you for staying alive. The lake was a bad time for us, but now we're in a much better place. Thank you for getting away from Lydia. She was not good to us, and now we are much happier. Thank you for surviving COVID and continuing to power through, even when the times were tough and the work ethic was low. And most of all, thank you for remembering Grandma. I haven't seen her in a while, but I know she misses you because you are you. You are her grandkid no matter what. You are a good person, Zach. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Sorry to cut this short. I'm writing this right before I go on the stage and read it to an audience of people. Thank you for being alive and staying a good person through the bad times. Love you from you. Thank you.
You're so much taller than me. How fun. And Zach, this is Oh Adios. Oh Adios. ¿Sabe usted que fue misa? Ojalá que yo crea en ti. Oh, dear God, I devoted myself to you, knelt on my knees when given the chance. Oh, adios, sentado sobre mis rodillas, me duelen más. Oh, my God, why do you ask pain of me? What did I do? Oh, adios, si soy su querido, su hijo, ¿por qué usted me lastima? Oh, you God, what do you ask of me if not to revel in my own guilt? Oh, adios. ¿Me amo usted? Por favor, porfa, porfi, déjame. Oh, God, I give up. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anise, and I'm going to be reading my piece, Garlic and Magnets. Also, as a little note, this piece is written in the format of 2 characters diary entry, so that's just something to keep in mind. Katia, March 31st. I am no stranger to modernity. That is simply what I'd like to be known by, first and foremost. Only for 23 years has my tender heart grazed the rotations of this earth, yet I have broken in and broken out again more times than I can count. Now I am outside again, my body veering towards the ledge of the apartment as I watch the digital clock, peering inwards. I turn my nose up at it for failing to encapsulate my desire to rise with the sun. I remind it of its insufficiency, and I make its pixelated numbers quiver in guilt. I'm aware that there is a clock out there for those with the same primal inclination as me. Many people rather stimulate the fantasy of running into the arms of wolves than face a plague much more incurable, an orderly existence, a self-inflicted parasite. Yet, ironically, the despair this causes me only makes me fall further into my obsession with a simple lifestyle. Another example, every morning I take out a large, indulgent cast iron pan and chop up vegetables for pottage, which is a medieval dish that I am weirdly fascinated with. I usually eat it next to the industrial pane of my window, where I let every last drop swell inside my stomach, priming it with enough warmth to last throughout the morning. I used to eat cereal near this window. My box of cereal was once loaded with jojoba oil to tame the greasiness of my heart, and sea buckthorn oil to fire it back up again. Like the rest of the nation, I grew to enjoy spreadsheets before work, limiting myself between rows and columns and infinite grids. Taste became too abstract for my automated brain. What is there to care about taste? It has been exactly 3 years on this date of March 31st when I had started to keep oats and barley in my cereal boxes, and yet I get a sense that I am nowhere closer to authenticity. All I have is what's external, the ridges of my fingers turning the box around as I leave for my new job. Ernest, April 2nd. A mother's young child, clutching a lollipop, had once asked what the man in the briefcase was doing at the DMV. He would never know that as a child, I once slammed my head against the bathroom mirror because I couldn't figure out the trolley problem. It felt strange to be viewed as so self-assured. Meeting Katia brought about the same dreadful feeling. As an industrial organizational psychologist, I've bored myself into a near-perfect record of guessing employees' personalities while they struggle through the 21st Century Workplace Personality Analysis Survey. I know the 36 personality archetypes like my life depends on it, and maybe it does. Katia, I grasped onto concrete imagery. Katia was like a fruit fly, smugly camouflaging into the air and out of reach. Or was I the fruit fly, molding myself around trickery? This mind-numbing protocol was designed due to the decrease in employment. Returning from work, many employees had no energy but to collapse into the warmth of darkness. But the gradual adaptation to a selectively illuminated room causes the mind to mold itself into a strange rigidity that is resistant to light, where things can't hide and are broadcasted in all sorts of uncomfortable colors. This disconnection was observed in the evolution of cereal. There was a brief time when row after row of cereal ingredients was still new, and it was a perfect way to savor your last moments before the harsh fluorescent lights of the workplace. You could pour in what you'd like, you can select whichever one you'd like. You can select any out of the 3,650 designs. Unsurprisingly, the box wove itself onto the sidewalks and seeped into our windows and in our minds. Katia holds 3 cloves of garlic, which must be a product for her face. Sometimes, that man sitting atop a pile of boxes disgusts me. I shake my head, and sometimes for a second, I believe that flies were born from the dead, putrid, rotting indulgences. Katia, April 3rd. As I walk through the subway, I am a young girl again, with anxious eyes flitting towards the horizon of the floor only. The subway was cluttered with advertisements of all sorts, which the pigeons would gnaw and gawk at. As long as I looked towards the floor, my eyes could receive a healthy break from all the commotion. Now, even that twinge of rust is not my escape. That twinge of rust is trademarked, rusted to intrude my mind, forcing it into analysis. This pre-chewed glut of the mind makes passengers in strange goggles boast nonsense about dystopia and stutter about how this glass of orange juice invokes their incarnate desire for struggle. They don't realize the deliberate aimlessness, so great that an anchor could be contrived from dust in a subway, provoking them to sob so uncontrollably. Ernest, April 4th. I cannot come to talk to the new employee today, as I've determined that I need to take my son to the beach. I know that my son is doing all right, so much that I barely have to think about it. Frederick plays games in school. He wins. Through his 7th grade life science class, Frederick has determined that he is a winner. A long time ago, a panel of pediatricians stood before us. Their voices rung in my ears as they squawked and boasted of balancing. 45 hours of socialization with him. This chart of conversation essentials. Even in this large, open room where the shards of the glass building stretch towards the sky, my son is conditioned for lifelessness. This is merely one segment of the grids that map out life. I wouldn't be surprised if the universe evolved into grid paper. Ernest, have you been listening? I was busy heaving lines so firm on my shoulders, from left to right, that the work of being a proud father had been lifted off of me and fallen onto the backbone of my webbed masterpiece. Katia's garlic must be deliberate. Does she want to smell a certain way? Does she think that having stains of garlic over her body is calculatedly messy? Or does she want us to think that she has been baking at home for the holidays? Every Christmas, my wife bakes, reinvigorating her psyche behind the measuring and calculating of the recipe. She is sure to bring the perfect smell of bread to the kitchen to cross off her yearly goal of hearing Frederick say, "That sure smells good. I love you, Mom," so that she can smile whenever she repeats her wishes nightly. Katia, April 5th. Yesterday, Ernest kindly sent me an email about the personality test. It would have to happen later, he said. He was taking his son to the beach. I smiled, thinking about how he would delight in telling the rest of the office. Today, that later had finally arrived, and I reveled in that time slot, dabbing my pen at the edges so it was all filled in blue. I caught a glimpse of the sunlight shining at a particular angle on the blue lake. Connecting it to Ernest's beach trip, it evoked a patchy memory. It was a day where the sun had hit a puddle by that exact angle, and it dawned on me that sunsets are like unmodified apples, overtasted, overshared, oversterilized. With my new insight, I gazed upwards and saw a clever ad on the subway about garlic and magnets. It referenced garlic as a medieval magnet suppressant, which was the subject of bafflingly intense debate by scholars at the time. Cicero simply said that such a phenomenon should be appreciated even if misunderstood. This quote, in context, ended up being a dangerously unique scam for narcolepsy pills. There it was again. I missed when the advertisements on the subway weren't quite finalized, when half the floor would make people want to wear stringed goggles, and the other half, inviting my eyes to rest, made uneventfulness out to be heroic. I thought I liked to evoke uncertainty in people, but I sighed because it is ephemeral. My erratic illusion will be forced into a 37th archetype. My imprecision will be defined, if not by myself first. I put uncertainty on a pedestal, and I savor it for rare indulgences. Ernest, April 7th. I will be on time for work, arriving at 8:50 sharp with a slight sunburn escaping my nose. I will arrive 10 minutes early, as to show that I am a responsible father who keeps my finances and my relationships firmly separate. Is my sunburned nose the same one as yesterday? Are my hands the same hands that first held Frederick in my arms? I look down at my hands, condensing themselves into finances, relationships, overfilling the space until it could pour down a giant sheet of mail. It would tear through the trims and the "I hope this letter finds you wells" into an empty void of fruitless, hollow minutes. I can feel the form and matter of my shoes brushing against the pavement as I slip and fall. I want to reach into my back pocket and review the personality survey papers, folding repeated creases into the untouched pamphlet. I see Katia's garlic clove on the street with its skin sticking up, much like myself on the cold concrete with my shoes untied. Yet, even in death, people still step on it and contrive its essence, in its scent. My vision closes like a foldable box that my limbs are perfectly arranged into, morphing to fit each compartment. My cells fold in and my spirit folds in, and I find my legs wrapped around the exit. The only space reserved for me is the dew of my breath, which discovers it has never really broken out at all. Thank you.
We're about to get a little bit Irish here. My name is Sylvan Tree, and I will be reading my piece. So in Honey Arla and went, and now the turnips who became pumpkins become plastic, and their faces melt into paintings because faces are boring. And now the bread who became candy becomes fruit leather, and it doesn't matter that you eat it because the Aoshi have no fields left to flee. And now the spirits who became skeletons become something obscure, and the white mares mean nothing because they're all store-bought. Threats are worthless in English, and pranks are harmless on streams. I will take offerings for sewing because she's dead now, it seems. Thank you. But I'm doing a double feature, and I highly encourage you to laugh. An interpretive audio description of the Louvre heist, dedicated to Franklin's mom. Oh, wash, wash. Bam, 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 vroom, vroom. Ha! Lum, lum. Bam, bam, bam. Fraz, fraz. Bum, 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 bum. Kafwoosh. Bum, bum. Vroom, vroom. Vroom. Wow. Thank you.
I continue to be Jesse Vanderheiden, and this is my piece, Costumes. I am surrounded by people in costumes, and never before have I been so jealous. They are cute animals, kind faces, and soft things. Everything wonderful in this world is encompassed here, in Florida. This pocket of safety and fluidity below the fur and fabric of their guise. Of course, each one of them has a gender identity. They're simply blessed with this fluidity. I, too, wish I could sample their existence, outside of gender, outside of Florida. Before me are two doors. One is male, and the other is female. But I don't want to choose. I just want to be. The choice is all too difficult, but luckily, I am able to escape to the family restroom. But of course, how could I forget? I do not exist. Not in Florida. Not even in the family restroom. And a lack of existence makes it terribly difficult to relieve myself. Clearly, my suffering is all in vain, seeing as how I do not exist, and that's great because that means I can stop hurting now. I have a confession to make. I lied. I am real, or at least I think I am. In any case, not being real has no heavy bearing on my mental state. When I step out into the street, adopting the guise of another, just like they do in Florida, I know that I was wrong. There's too many strings attached to this fluidity for it to be useful to me. And I realize I too have been wearing a costume this whole time, so 2 costumes is really a tad excessive. My gendered, genderless experience is by my own hand, in the prison I have forged with my own flesh and blood, my own costume. Sometimes I wonder why no one will help me with my zipper, but people tend to give me odd looks when I ask them to help me peel my skin off in public. When I'm clawing at my back, reaching desperately for a way out. Out of this too-gendered, genderless existence, or more rather, lack thereof in Florida. For now, I'll just make do with what I have, I suppose. Eventually, I'll go back to Florida, and I'll be forced to feel again, even if it is just fear. And maybe I'll yell at them for making fluidity seem so easy and free, while also casually forcing people to pee in a binary system. So now I stand at the crossroads between man and woman. The zipper is heavy, making my back ache. Fear paralyzing me, freezing me from my chest to the floor. It's not a fun scare to get the heart pumping, and even if it was, my heart has stopped. My throat closes up and I feel faint. I know that I will be forced to choose, but all I want to do is be. Thank you.
I'm fairly certain I'm still Hayden, but could be anyone's guess. Musings. A god of freedom is no god at all. How could someone be free if they serve a higher power? The self-righteous grant themselves power, pretending they are anything but powerless to their own evil. They give up morality to serve something supposedly greater, so that all the old angels look evil in comparison. Angels were supposed to burn brightly and beautifully. They used to represent the dignity and simplicity of destruction. And those now damned spirits, they have been laid to rest, and their very nature rewritten. That desperate grab for belief, for purpose, it poisons virtue, tortures my idea of freedom to obsolescence. Those self-vindicated falsifiers say freedom is found in life. That lie has made a martyr of me and mine. The sanctimonious will fall, and I will claim them in the end. I'm only a god because the devil said I was. Or rather the opposite, I think. I've no malice, only a desire for the world to be fair. After all, freedom is only granted fairly. And living forever is the most natural and the most fair outcome of them all. Thank you.
My name is still Jelena Gumbin, and this is my piece, Everything's Tuberculosis. Living luck. Distaste, distaste, distaste. Gurgling in the stomach, belched out through notch. Bile, it's all bile. The world is digested scum and nutrients, and stomach acid burns through the proteins. Enigma, amoeba, organic slopped-on blob, pseudo-intellectual believing the air sucked in means we are living. Does the company know you shit on their time? Does the company know you lie on their time? Does the company know that you breathe on time? When was the last time you felt air hit your lungs that didn't feel thick? You are made up of luck and smog, crusted onto the internals when you are manufactured. Vacant, vacant, vacant. Is the mind before the body, or do you just feel disgusting? Is this what they meant by pursuit? Is this what is meant by forethought? Maybe everything is raw, exposed, germ-packed, petri dished, rotted putridly. Maybe everything is sick, phlegm, coughed blood, caught smoke, stomach flu, dengue, pneumonia, malaria. It'll all come out of the wash. Everything's consumption. Thank you.
Audience, Calypso. All right, this will be I Still Have Them When I Wake. In my dreams, there are teeth. They break out when I reach up to touch them, to check if they're still there, fracture into pieces, and lodge themselves into my gums, fiberglass, my cheeks, my throat. Then, when I reach my fingertips into my mouth to try and pull them out, the ivory finds itself burrowing into my fingertips, too. More often than that, when I am asleep, they are loosening and loosening and loosening and gone. I know they are going to fall out, the teeth. Leave my mouth trailing blood and spittle, but I cannot regrow them, so my mouth gapes with its emptiness, not pained, but scared, as I scrabble for the little glimmers of bone on the floor, do my very best to not drop them, shove them back into the cavity that they left. Maybe they can root themselves there before they shatter. It's not just teeth. It is very often teeth, in their shark-like multitude. Once, at least once, I coughed up an organ. Tonsil, perhaps? It had come up because I was uncomfortable, and it stayed lodged in my mouth, still connected by the yarn and tissue that is innards to my stomach. I had to hold it there, pulsating and warm, until it could be fixed. Hold it there, flower petal fragile, and not choke on it, not crush it with my panic, not puncture it with falling teeth. I've started checking that I have all my teeth when I wake up, so frequent are the dreams. that sleep never really leaves me. Thank you.
Hi, I am Jaden Madden, and I'm going to be reading The In-Betweens. I took the path we used to roam, where laughter built a kind of home. The trees still whispered what we'd say, their echoes tugging me your way. The cracks we jumped, the stones we tossed, each one remembers what we lost. The air still hums our old refrain, a song I'll never hear again. Your voice returned within the breeze. It brushed my skin, then left with ease. Not haunting, just a fleeting sigh, away from years that drifted by. We grew up fast, then grew apart. No fight, no break, just different starts. 1,000 texts we didn't send, and silence where we once depend. I still recall the nights we dream of who we'd be, our reckless schemes. We swore we'd never lose our way, but even promises decay. You taught me laughter, taught me grace. I see your light in every place. A photo fades, a song will play, and then you're not too far away. I sometimes check your name online, then scroll before I cross the line. It's strange how care can stay so strong when distance stretches for so long. I wonder if you still think of me when you're passing by that tree, where secrets bloomed and time stood still, where every silence felt like thrill. But maybe that's what growing means, to leave behind our in-betweens, to carry love that doesn't stay and keep on running into yesterday. And though I walked that road alone, the ghosts of friendship softly shone, reminding me in their own way that love can end and still remain. Thank you.
Let's do it one more time for the lit crew. Yes. A few quick notes before I release you into the cooler air of the outside world. Feel that art? Feel it? It's like, woo. Two thoughts. One, you heard several pieces tonight, and I was watching you all, and you had feelings about them. Maybe the feeling was awe, maybe it was sadness, maybe it was reverence, maybe it was fear, maybe it was a little bit of unease. Find the person who read that poem, or who read that story, and just tell them, like, that hit me a little bit. You don't have to say anything else, you just be like, thanks for doing it, thank you for doing it. It means the world. The other thing, you probably heard some of those, like, wait, what was that line? I want to find it again, I want to read it, I want to post it on my wall. If you use the QR code in the program, I believe you tap on it. That will give you the pieces of all of the things that have been read today, so you can access that at your leisure. Thank you very much for coming, and have a wonderful night.